This is B-Man from Slipknot, and you're listening and reading Heavy Mag.
Beautiful. B-Man, thanks for joining us tonight, mate.
How's it going?
Good, brother. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain.
Not too bad. Cool. So we're here tonight to talk about your 7th album, The End So Far, which will be unleashed on September 30th, mate. So I know pretty much the whole world's counting down the days, but how are you guys feeling about it?
Oh, super stoked, super pumped. Very looking forward to having a physical copy in my hand. It's it's nice to see the it coming towards the end of it, and there's a lot of so many ups and downs to try and get everything to kind of fall into place. But it's nice knowing that now it's 2 weeks to go and we'll be there. So.
Yeah. So can you describe the album for us musically, mate, and what you're going for with it?
Musically, there was never really a set goal of where we wanted it to go. We just we started off just towards the, when we got back from tour in Europe, and then obviously the COVID thing happened. And, everyone's in different places around the world, and, it's not a thing where we can just pop down the road and all hang out in a studio and just start writing. So a lot of stuff was done. Like I did stuff here, Jim's writing over there. So it's, we kind of got together with Clown. I've been sending him some stuff, and we kind of put everything on the table and just to see where we were at. And then I think the more we worked on it, the more we realized this is where it's going to go. This is going to be the album. So after some good bit of demoing and good bit of putting it together, I felt like we were coming to a point where it felt like this is the next step for Slipknot. And now hearing it, once it's all done and finished, that's definitely what we've achieved. So it's a progression from where we were, from We Are Not Your Kind into the new era.
Yeah, cool. And you've released the singles The Dying Song, The End, and The Chapel Town Rag from the album. So would you say overall they're a good sonic representation of the album as a whole?
Well, have you heard the album yet?
Yeah, I have, yeah. But I don't think it is. But
what's that, sorry?
I don't think it really is. There's a lot more to the album than what those 3 songs are.
Yeah, that's what I just didn't know if you had heard it yet. Yeah, so I mean, songs like Adderall and Finale, front and back of the album, the way that those are brought in, and then the scattering of the heaviness, I feel like that's where we're going, and that's the journey of what those songs are going to do. Is you just out of nowhere you're hit with something, or it's tough because at the beginning the songs that we started on were the heaviest ones first, and then the way that the other ones were brought into life was, and that's what I was saying, when we're finally piecing our work together, that's when we kind of knew what we had. So yeah, I feel like the album in itself is just a piece of music. It's I think start to finish is how it was meant to be, and that I'm glad that that's the way it came out.
Yeah. So tell us about the title, The End So Far. It's cryptic as fuck, mate.
But I mean, you got the end, and then you got so far. So doesn't mean it's the end.
No.
So if you just cover up the end bit, just look at so far, and then you've got it.
Yeah. So Cloud doesn't help either. Like, it's quoted as saying, "New music, new art, and new beginnings. Get ready for the end." Like, he's not helping things at all by saying shit like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what he does. That's Clown. So you can't give everything away, otherwise, what are you left with?
That's exactly right, mate. We touched on this before, man. The album opens with probably one of the slowest and most measured Slipknot songs yet in Adderall. So what was the thought process behind that, having that slow to start off with and then finale at the end that's similar?
Um, the way that they structured it, I mean, I was never involved in the piecing together of songs where they were to go. Um, but like Adderall is a different song anyway. It evolved into what it is that what you have now, and you know, drums were added, bass was added, guitars were added, and it evolved into something else. We didn't really see it as a connection, or it was never a thought of saying, right, this needs to sound like that, or this needs to be close, and then that'll be the statement. I think it literally was just by chance when we finished each individual song, and then when Clown and Corey would put together the structure of the album, I think it just make it, that's the natural, the way that I think anyone would kind of put it together. So and I'm glad it happened that way, because the way I had an order of songs was completely different to how it is now. So I'm you know, I'm very, I think it was like the first interview I did was someone was telling me about it. I was like, that's not in the order, and then I realized, oh shit.
Didn't get what you wanted.
Yeah. No, it's not I didn't want, it's just how I got given it from Dropbox. So.
Okay. Yeah. So back on the Clown, mate, like most of Slipknot's film clips are directed by him. So how hard is he to work with on set as a director? Is he hard on you, or is he pretty cool to work with?
No, I mean, Clown's just Clown, and you know, he's just there to try and do the best that he, you know, of, you know, he's got such a great vision and stuff. So
yes.
I'm just, you know, I love watching him work. I love seeing of you know, where he's going with things, and I try my best to not look into what we're about to do, because I like to be surprised by things. And I remember getting the sheet saying of like what it's about, and you know, I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to get there, and someone's going to tell me what to do. And you know, and it was great just to walk into something and not be like, oh, that's that thing that he was mentioning. Oh, that's that there. That's that there. And I was just like, walked in, and I was like, took it in. I was like, wow, this is, I can see where he's going with this. And you know, we finished shooting one day whilst we were doing Yen, and like, you know, some guys went home and whatever, but me and Jim stuck around, and we were just sitting on the deck chairs, kind of by the pool area where in the Yen video, and we're watching that all happening, and just seeing Clown work, and just seeing the way that he talks to people and all the crew and stuff like that. You know, it's inspiring to see, because the only aspect that, you know, if you're like, say, just on stage, you know, just seeing him doing his thing, but to see them do that thing that he does, it's, you know, it's great just to watch. So, you know, there's no bossing around or doing that. You know, it's you know, it's very cool. Aware of, yeah, he's very aware of everybody and what everyone needs. And so.
Man, but so far it's Slipknot's 7th album, mate, and on each one you guys managed to push musical boundaries even further. So is that something you've discussed going into an album, or is it sort of more a natural thing that happens?
I don't think, yeah, nothing was discussed. No one really said, oh, this is how we need to move on. And like I was saying, like the demoing that I would do here for the songs on the record, you know, they were just, because I was like, well, I'm just going to do heavier stuff. I don't want to, I'm not going to go like, right, here's a classical piece and or something like that, you know. So it was, you know, I'm writing heavy metal. So I'm in a heavy metal band, but it was when we get to I got to Clowns and we started to dissect stuff, or we started to add stuff. That's when the songs started, or the theme, or say the idea of where we were going. And you know, like Yen in itself is a heavy song, but it's also super melodic, you know.
Yeah.
So it was never a thought like saying, right, we need to do this, is how it has to go down. It just came. And you know, like Finale was a song which was completely different, got switched backwards, something got pulled out of there, that then became the chorus. And then, you know, the intro, Mike started adding his piano, and then all of a sudden there was timbali. You know what I mean? It was just no one said this is how it has to happen. It happened, you know, and it kind of kept growing and growing. And then when you add someone like Joe Barresi into the mix, Joe turns it into something even bigger, you know, because that's what he does. So.
This will be your third album with the band, so are you settling into things a bit better?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we're in a time where obviously the COVID thing happened and stuff like that. And then when we do take a break, we take a break. You know, like we previously took like 2 years off between the Grey chapter and We're Not Your Kind. So, you know, and you come back together, and it's just it's as if there was no 2 year off. You know. So I think as you progress with the band, and I've progressed with the band, and you know, there's more understanding of the way that everybody works and the way that their input is into making Slipknot. And I think now we're just at that point now where it's natural. It's you know, when it's time for someone to do something, it's time to do something. And you know, and it's nice to be part of that now, and to have someone to say, oh, what's your input on this, or so feeling like you're part of the unit. And that's, you know, that's something that has been a natural progression as well, you know. So.
Yeah. And your first album, of course, was Point Five, the Grey chapter. So how difficult was it for you coming into the band under those circumstances? Couldn't have been easy.
No, it was a weird one. It was an amazing experience. There was nothing like you know, it wasn't like some hazing thing, or I wasn't like I was like, oh, you gotta be like that, yeah. You know, there was none of that. It was the band were it was a difficult time, and you know, I walked in and I needed to do a job, and that was the job that I had to do. But once again, like saying, like the progression, it was, you know, Jim saying, look, he's the bass player, so why don't we get him to do the bass? And so that's when I, you know, started recording the songs, you know. And there were a few songs where Jim did track the bass because, you know, it just was easier for time management or something like that. But, you know, a good chunk of the album, like 10 songs or something. And, you know, and then being around, we did kind of like an open studio where we'd work on songs, and then, you know, I'd be like, how about we do that? And then that would work, you know? So, and then I think that's the thing. And then we went on tour for ages and stuff like that. And it just progressed, you know? And I think it was from being a tech for so long, going into that of being like, I'm not on a schedule anymore, of like a 9 to 5 or 9 to 12 in the morning, kind of loading out a truck, to then being like sitting around a studio all day and just being able to play an instrument. You know, that was just such a an amazing experience to be able to do that and get, you know. Yeah.
Very sure. And that is a Slipknot way, mate. Like, you weren't officially announced straight away, then your identity got discovered due to a unique tattoo on your left hand in a photo. So did you get in trouble for that at the time?
Oh no, there was no trouble. It was a funny one, because I remember saying, like, should I put some like black tattoo gloves on or something like that? And they were like, no one's gonna get it. And I was like, well, okay, well, I've worked for quite a few high profile bands, and if it's not going to be called out by a fan, it's going to be called out by someone in a teching position, or someone from another band going, oh, that's fucking V-Man, isn't it? That's V-Man's tattoo. I mean, once you've seen that, it's pretty
hard to unsee.
yeah. So, and then there was also like a good grace period of six months of where I just disappeared off the face of the planet. And everyone, I was just getting messages, and I couldn't tell anyone what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'm just away at the moment. So I think it kind of got pieced together pretty quick. You know?
Your first live shows were at Knockfest in 2014, mate. So can you remember how you were feeling going into those shows? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you excited?
It wasn't. I was more nervous about everything sounding right and me being able to play. I don't know. The crowd aspect was. It didn't sink in until everyone just started playing, and then I'm like just concentrating, and all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, oh shit. That is actually a lot of people, isn't it? And then, but then, you know, it's just a gradual progression, really. We were kind of, you know, it was Jay's first ever show. So it was just it's a weird experience. There's a lot going on. That was definitely my first. If it wasn't the pyro going crazy or the lights and stuff like that, and then you've got a mask on, then you've got in-ears on, and you're just running around, and you're just like, ah. But as a musician, like I can't just play wrong notes and like throw my bass around or like jump off stuff. So for me, I've just always been more of a just hold it down and try and keep it as tight as possible. So,
Speaking of pyros, mate, you got a flamethrower bass that I've seen photos of, bro. That's fucking awesome. Where'd that come from?
It was we were just going in to rehearsals. I remember texting Clown. I was just like, "Can I have a flamethrower, please?" just pissing around. And then he just, yeah, sure, why not? He goes, let me know when you, let me go for it. Let me see if it looks shit or not. And then our pyro company just bolted it onto like a body that I had. And then we tested it and I sent it to it and he was just like, cool. That was it.
That easy.
That easy. Can I have a flamethrower, please? Sure.
Oh shit. Slipknot was supposed to actually tour Australia and Metallica before COVID fucked everything up, mate. So have you got to work on making rescheduled plans yet?
You know, it's I'm just going to say sooner than later there'll be some sort of hopefully being over that side of the world. It's my favorite place to go over to actually play. So I'm looking forward to hopefully we get some sort of it's just, you know, with Slipknot, it's not just 9 dudes and a couple of guitars. You know, it's 40 to 50-year-old crew. You know what I mean? It's a big and a lot of trucks. So, you know, and also everyone's touring at the moment, and you know, so it's hard to really pinpoint when you're going to play or what's going to happen because it just keeps changing. So, you know, I'm not going to say yes. So. Just have to wait and see. That's all I'm saying.
We'll have to be even more patient than what we are, won't we?
Yeah. Trust me, I really wanted to do that Metallica show, but you know, people's health comes first. So.
Yeah, too easy, mate. All right, man. Well, thanks for your time tonight. The end so far comes out on September 30, and I've been a Slipknot fan for a long time, mate. And the album is a fucking cracker, mate. Congratulations, well done.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, mate. Oh, good night.
Good night. God bless.
Yeah. See you, mate.
Catch you, bro.
Good one. There you go.
Put your hands into the water, let your mouth go sick and dry. Put your life into your death now, let them sing till you die. Die.